super useful as well. If anything, they'd be quite thankful then that Creator actually got so deep in the bracket, giving somebody else an opportunity to go to the World Finals. It looks like, guys, both players are in the game. The countdown has begun. The first map will be Daybreak. Let's get into the game. Curious against TooDming.
All right. Up here in our top right, it is our StarTale Zerg from Korea. None other than StarTale.Curious.
Man, that death stare.
Yep, he doesn't care at all.
No, definitely not. And his opponent, though, in the bottom left, possibly the strongest Zerg in China. The best shot of taking out Curious here, but can he do it over this best of 3? We have TooDming. Man, he looks so chilled out.
TooDming, actually, he's a young player, but he has a lot of tournament experience. He's actually someone that has represented China in StarCraft 1 multiple times. I've always known TooDming, who he was, for a very long time in StarCraft 1. He was always ranked very highly on the IC Cup ladder, you know, amongst the top foreigners, Koreans, and whatnot. And he's always been a strong contender.
Well, and that to us really says that he's not going to get up on stage at an event like this and choke under the pressure or like buckle and not do his normal thing or anything like that. He's used to the exposure. He's used to having people watch him. He's used to playing these live games, like being live cast on stage and stuff like that. And he's gonna be okay with doing his own thing against someone who obviously is being seen here as the favorite to win the match. But that's not going to throw TooDming off at all. And I think that's like a big part of the reason why he's perfectly capable of winning this series.
Sure. Well, it should be mentioned that TooDming has gone for a 10 pool, so it's a pretty quick, aggressive pool to open with. But Curious is going pool first, and it looks like it's going to be a pool into expansion. So, realistically, will this do any damage? It could. It could do a little bit, but I think what's going to end up happening is he's going to damage the hatchery a lot and then have to go away. TooDming
really, he's sort of doing this opening to sort of test Curious, if you like. He's wanting to say to Curious, look, I'm not actually afraid to go aggressive against you. Let's see what happens here.
And he's actually going really... Oh, no, he's not. He did the extractor trick to get an extra ling out. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Because he made the extractor, I'm like, oh my god, he's actually going to get gassed. He's going to be all in. But no, this is going to be a lot of ling pressure, slow ling pressure. And he'll probably go ahead and expand off of this.
Yeah, well, Curious saw the lings with the Overlord, and he's making 8 lings of his own, and because of the huge rush distance on Daybreak, like, he's going to be able to get lings out comfortably in time before TooDming can actually move out. We see the lings now going to be engaging at the natural, and Curious actually holding this off quite well, and of course this is a ZVZ, so ideally what you want to do is the exact same thing your opponent's doing, just that slightest bit later, so you can squeeze those extra drones out.
Exactly.
And Curious got a later pool, so he has the equivalent number of lings thanks to Defender's advantage here, and he's also got his hatch down, so all of a sudden he's just a little bit ahead, unless TooDming can come in here and like do a decent amount of damage.
That's right. Now 2 more links coming out. He wants it. Oh, TooDming doing really good, but Curious just too quick for him. If he can ever surround a couple of those extra lings and kill him off, then he gets a huge advantage. Some pretty nice micro going on, but it looks like Curious has enough to just barely send him packing.
Oh, wow. That was so good from Curious. Like, TooDming was microing a lot of those hurt Zerglings back as well, but the problem is while he was microing them back, he selected a couple of decent health Zerglings too, and they weren't doing any damage while he was microing the damage ones back, so that gave Curious the slightest advantage, and that's all he really needed. So he had a later pool, he got a couple of more drones out. It's 22 to 20 drones at the moment, so it's not like a world of difference, but he's had the mining for a bit longer, and the hatch did pop sooner for him as well, so Curious just in a comfortable position here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, having that extra hatch up earlier is better than Queen earlier, but, you know, it's not so significant that, like, TooDming can't come back from here. He definitely can. A couple nice moves by him, or a couple not well thought out moves by Curious, and suddenly he can take a lead. So.
Oh yeah, man, really volatile matchup. You just even need like one not nice move, like a lucky Baneling strike or something later on in the game. If the game, of course, decides to go that way, can change the entire course of the game. So we just have to wait and see what's happening. Curious is comfortable but comfortable as in he has an advantageous position, not like he has a winning one or anything like that. And he's going to be the first one here, guys, to put down the Baneling Nest. And this is interesting because TooDming is still like droning up after this aggression here. He is getting his own Baneling Nest as well. But Curious now with 12 Lings in production, it looks like he's going to want to really get aggressive.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some Curious aggression here. And he likes to do this. He likes to put on that aggression. And we'll see if he goes into layer tech after this. I believe he probably will. As far as TooDming goes, though, TooDming is getting ready. He's getting a Spine Crawler. He's going to have speed at approximately the same time. He's going to have his own Baneling Nest. So if he can get enough Banelings out to properly deflect this, he's going to have a drone lead.
And now TooDming sees that all of those Zerglings are moving out from the base of Curious. What is his response going to be? His own Baneling Nest is about to complete. We should expect to see, yep, 2 defensive Banelings immediately getting popped up from him there. And, of course, Curious still needs to get there. Oh, is he actually, like, stopping those things from getting into the main base? Yes, that is actually siphoned off. Really, really well done there from TooDming. Is it going to be enough? The defensive Banelings can actually get out at the moment, though. Needs to be a little bit careful, and it looks like Curious is going to be forced back for now. 53 to 41 supply.
That was actually a beautiful positioning there as far as the hole goes. And a couple Banes going in. He will damage a lot of drones. Wow, and get some larvae as well. Very well done. But you know what? This is a pretty solid hold so far. You can't complain too much about what happened there for TooDming. You know, his Banelings were a little bit late for how many Lings came in, but he's still okay.
All those drones that were quite low from the Baneling earlier trying to get hit. Ooh, very, very nice dodge there from Curious, preventing that defensive Baneling from going down, forcing the cancel on the gas, and once again, Curious dicing with death there. He had about 10 Zerglings that could have died. And TooDming just a split second too late on that Baneling detonation. Curious getting out. Otherwise, we have a little bit of a reset here. It looks like Curious isn't going to be doing more aggression at this time. He's going to partially drone up behind this as well. And both sides just going to settle in for the macro game. Now 48 to 41 drones in favor of Curious.
Okay, so we now know what the rest of this game is probably going to look like. Both players are going for Roach Horns. Hold on, though. We do have actually some Lings running in here. And he doesn't have a lot of defense left, so Curious getting a little bit of kills there. That's actually quite nice. But we have Curious teching up, so he looks like he's getting ready to go Infestor Roach. Whereas we're going to have Roach out of TooDming, but it's a much slower layer. So that's going to give the speed advantage to Curious. He's going to get that Roach speed up first. Doesn't necessarily mean that he can walk over across the map and kill him because TooDming is mirroring him reasonably well.
Sure.
But it does mean that it's going to be harder for TooDming to actually take a third base, whereas for Curious, not going to be hard. He's going to be able to get that up first.
Well, here's the thing. The layer is actually about 50 seconds behind. So there is actually a small timing for Curious where he could actually go across the map as 2 Banelings getting in and the Spine Crawl managing to kill 1, but not both. Now we're going to get some drone kills. 1 goes down, 2 go down.
Really nice control here by Curious. I'm very impressed with how well he's doing with these small Ling and Baneling attacks.
Yep, 7 killed now.
Yeah, it's not bad for these little run-ins, and you can see it reflected in their supply. 59 to 90. Curious is lead. And in fact, as far as drones go, he's only up by 5, but a lot of that is due to his nice aggression and harassment.
And Glial Reconstitution actually starting first for TooDming here. So Curious not going to super fast road speed, trying to like march straight across the map with those. He is still using he's like constantly building Lings to sort of prod at his opponent, but he's been keeping the Roaches home so far in case of some sort of counterattack, and now he's going to be moving out across the map with that, but he sees some Lings moving in from TooDming. They actually take a decent amount of damage before they ever get there. Is there a Spine Crawler for defense? Yes, and a Queen. So that should more or less be okay. These Lings are going to try and maybe get a cancel off at the third. It looks like a Queen's going to go down here, which is a nice little pick off there for TooDming, but needs to be a little bit careful because Curious has a decent amount of units out on the map, and it looks like he's just going to go for a counter here.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Curious... I mean, TooDming is teching up pretty heavily. He's going to have that Roach speed first, as you mentioned. He's going to actually have his +1 attack done slightly first, as well as his Burrow. So as far as the Roach count goes, Curious, he does have 10 more Roaches, but he's trying to be the aggressor. So with the rally points so close, I'm not sure that he can actually break TooDming yet.
He needs to be very careful with how he chooses to engage it. Clearly, Reconstitution now just finishing for TooDming. Still about 25 seconds behind for Curious there. Both sides have completed their +1 missile attacks. It looks like Curious is going to be heading up the ramp at this moment in time. The Roaches engaging great concave from TooDming, but Baneling's mixed into this composition from Curious, trying to split up the Roaches here, and TooDming spending a lot of time moving back, and as a result, Curious has a pretty decent concave now, and it looks like he is able to match TooDming blow for blow, and with the addition of those Banelings, he might be able to get into the excellent burrow from TooDming. Is it going to be enough? He has a good position on Curious. He needs to try and force him back. And yes, he does actually prevent the StarTale player from popping in for now. No detection, so that burrow is going to allow TooDming to regenerate.
Well, now he does have an Overseer coming in. TooDming, though, again, his rally points are so much closer that it's hard for Curious to keep this aggression up, even though his supply is up by a solid 25.
Oh, and now TooDming moving in to the center of the map. He's going to want to try and take apart Curious while he's unable to. Oh, Curious, though, getting the burrow finished, and there isn't an Overseer out here for TooDming. So all of a sudden, has TooDming actually overextended himself slightly? We saw an Overseer from Curious, now moving back from the natural, realizing what's going on. We have burrowed Roaches versus burrowed Roaches. Artosis, that's not the most exciting engagement in the world.
I don't know, I find it pretty exciting, but we have Curious moving forward again. He does have a big supply lead now. His Overseer coming over, so Burrow is basically done in this game. But it did have some great effects. The thing is, Curious, his supply is just taking such a lead. He has that third base. It's kind of hard to imagine him losing from here.
Yeah, he's going to constantly trade now because he knows he has the third base up and mining and TooDming doesn't. So even if Curious barely loses this engagement, he can start rallying Roaches in and just try and trade a little bit cost inefficiently until TooDming runs out of money, basically. And he's now at 138 supply to 83. TooDming, GG coming out from him. He knew that was his last stand.
Yeah.
And of course, there was an Overlord there, and he's seen the third base as well, so he knows he can't keep it up in the long run.
You know, a lot of harassment this game from Curious. I really like the aggression. The fact that